pleasant Wednesday evening to all. It's a beautiful Wednesday here in Nevis. And of course, once you hear my voice on a Wednesday evening, you know what's happening. It's On the Mark. Well, you're not hearing the Honorable Mark Brantley this evening. You're hearing my voice, Eric Evelyn. I'm sitting in for the Honorable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis, who is the regular host of the show. But I want to especially welcome all of you who are in tune and who are logged on to the On the Mark program for this evening. It's Wednesday, the 26th day of March, 2025. I keep wondering, every time I come here, I keep wondering where are the days and the weeks and months going. It's almost the end of March, you know, and it just seems like yesterday we had New Year's Day, and now we're almost at the end of March, and we're almost stepping into April very, very shortly. And so I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you who are in tune to the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan Radio 860 on your AM dial. And of course, those of you who are joining us online, we want to say thank you as well. Those of you who are joining us via Facebook as well, we want to thank you. So those of you who are listening, those of you who are viewing, whether you're listening via radio, online, whether you're viewing on Facebook, we want to thank you for joining us. Of course, this is a program that is widely listened to. I think one of the most popular programs in St. Kitts, Nevis and the Eastern Caribbean, has been around for a very, very long time. And of course, it's 2 hours of commercial-free talk show, and of course that talk show also normally includes your calls as well. And of course later on you'll be able to call in as well to give your views and whatever we are discussing. And of course when we open the lines, our numbers are 869-469-1616 and 1700. And so we say good evening to all of the folks here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, in the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, and of course those of you joining us in the diaspora. We are always very, very happy to have you with us. This show will not be possible, will not be as popular, will not be the show that it normally is without you listening, without your support, without your calls. And so we are thankful that every Wednesday people make it their business to tune in to On the Mark here on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse. As I said, the Honorable Mark Brantley is absent tonight. He's on the other side of the globe. He's all the way in Nigeria, in Africa, and of course he's part of a federal delegation that would have traveled on Monday, and they will be in Africa for the rest of the week. They are, I think, attending a summit there, an investment summit, and of course we've been hearing that we need to look towards Africa for investment as well. And so the federal government has a team that has gone to Africa, and the Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley, is a part of that team. We're very happy that of course Nevis is represented on that team, and so we will be at the table, and of course we will be promoting St. Kitts and Nevis there in Nigeria. So we want to wish the delegation, the Prime Minister, the Premier and the rest of the delegation all the very, very best in their summit there in Nigeria, in Africa. And so I am here sitting in for the Honorable Mark Brantley this evening, as he is on government duty on the other side of the globe. And so once again, welcome to all. We'll be here until 10 o'clock, of course. And of course, as I said, later on you will be free to call in and share your views on whatever we are discussing. But we will be here until 10. And of course, we remember the show is rebroadcast on a Thursday from 1 until 3 p.m. And of course, it's always so good that some people listen on a Wednesday evening and they listen again on a Thursday afternoon. Okay, and of course normally at the top of the show we normally do some housekeeping matters, and we normally say send out some greetings, whether birthday or anniversary, for those of you who might be celebrating today. If you have celebrated during the week, if you're celebrating later in the week, we want to greet you from us here at On the Mark and us here at the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse. And I want to send out some birthday greetings, some belated birthday greetings to one of my dear constituents who made 70 on Monday. She had a wonderful celebration on Saturday evening, which I was fortunate to attend, and that person is Mrs. Ursula Queely. Most of us know her as Us. And it was a surprise birthday celebration on Saturday evening there at the David Freeman Center of Excellence. A wonderful celebration indeed. I never knew that people actually can keep a secret in Nevis, but that secret was tightly held, and she had absolutely no clue of what was going to happen on Saturday evening. But she celebrated her birthday on Monday. She made a milestone of 70. And Ursula, I want to say belated birthday greetings to you. You have the right to celebrate for the rest of the week and the rest of March. I know you had a wonderful time, and I know you would have a good time on Monday as well. I know you are. I'm sure you're listening. So belated birthday greetings, and of course kudos to the children and all those who are part of putting that lovely celebration together. You certainly deserved it, every minute, every ounce of it, Ursula. I also want to say belated birthday greetings to my good friend there, Faustina Morton Stevens, there on Government Road. I think she would have celebrated, I think it's yesterday, and so belated birthday greetings to you. And I think Cutie would have celebrated this week as well, whether it was on Monday or yesterday. So belated birthday greetings to you, Cutie. And I understand that our very own Jarvis Brown from right in at the Eastern Caribbean Spa House is celebrating today. So Jarvis, happy birthday. Enjoy the rest of your birthday celebration. And of course, we also want to greet anyone who is celebrating, whether you've celebrated earlier this week, whether you're celebrating later this week, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, whatever the occasion is, we always greet you and we want to celebrate with you. Life is meant to be celebrated, and especially nowadays, we absolutely must and have to celebrate life and celebrate it to the fullest. And of course, those of you who are a little bit under the weather, we greet you as well. Those of you who are not feeling very well, we want to say good evening to you. Trust that you had a pretty good day, and that you will have an even better night, and that you will continue. If you're not doing well, we hope that you'll continue to improve. We greet those of you who are in the hospital, those of you who are not doing so well, those of you in the homes, the Flamboyant Home and the St. George and St. John Senior Citizens Home there in Gingerland. We greet you who are in the homes, and of course we greet those who are responsible for taking such extra good care of you, whether you're in the hospital or in the homes. We know that those workers, those employees have a big duty to perform, and they normally do very well in performing that duty. And so we greet those as well who are taking such wonderful care of the persons who are a little bit under the weather, those who are not well, those persons who are bedridden, those who are not able to get out of their beds. We greet all of you. And of course, we always, as usual, we greet those who are in the bereaved column. And of course, quite a lot of persons are in the bereaved column. Quite a lot of persons have been in the bereaved column since the start of the year, since January started. And of course, that is why I mentioned a while ago, life is meant to be celebrated. Life is so fickle, life is so fragile, and when we have life, we absolutely must enjoy and celebrate it. Do not be afraid to celebrate life. Do not be afraid to celebrate life. We never know when is our last breath. So do not be afraid to celebrate, and celebrate in style when you want to. Do not let anyone dictate to you how to celebrate your life. And so we want to extend condolences to all those who are in the bereaved column. And as I said, we have quite a number of persons who are in the bereaved column this evening. We want to send condolences to the family of the late Maria Parry of St. Thomas's Parish. She would have passed a couple of weeks ago, and so we send condolences to her children and her grandchildren, the entire family. We also want to send condolences to the family of the late Eileen Liebert, who would have passed last week. Mrs. Liebert from Barnscott, my very, very good friend, such a lovely, sweet lady. And that is why I said we ought to celebrate persons, because I know last year Mrs. Liebert made 90, and she was celebrated in grand style at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park. And I'm sure that the family would have been happy that they would have celebrated her in such grand style last year, because she has now gone to the great beyond. And so to the family of the late Mrs. Liebert, to the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, all of the family members. And Barnscott is a small community, so everybody in Barnscott normally mourns when someone from Barnscott goes. And so condolences to all of the folks. I also want to extend condolences to the family of the late Rosalind Brooks Stones. She is originally from Handys Road, actually, but she has been living overseas for quite some time, and she passed away in the United States last week. And so we want to extend condolences to the family, to her children, one of whom is DJ Paper and Judith down in St. Kitts, and of course to her sisters Merlin and Elmida Brooks, and all of the family there in Hanley's Road in St. Kitts in the Virgin Islands, wherever you are. That's the family of the late Rosalind Brooks Stones. Of course, we also want to say condolences to the family of the late Anne Rosanna Chapman from Clegot, and of course I know her husband very well, Mr. Wilfred Chappie Chapman, and I know one of her daughters very well as well, Gemma, and so we want to send condolences to the Chapman family there in Clegot as well. We also want to send some condolences to the family of the late Antoine Mills Elliott, a young man who would have lost his life tragically there in St. Kitts recently. And so we want to send condolences to his dad Prince, to his grandfather Horace Blackie Elliott, to the Elliott family here in Nevis, and on the family in St. Kitts as well. I know it was a very, very tragic loss. We would have lost his mom just about 2 years ago as well. And so it's a young man who would have lost his life in a traffic accident there in St. Kitts. I know it's going to be a hard one, and so we extend condolences to that family. We continue to send condolences to the family of the late Maureen Stapleton as well, to Al, the son, and the rest of the family. And of course, we want to extend condolences again to the family of the late Mr. Keith Glasgow of Brickhill, another young man who would have passed recently in the United States. His funeral, I believe, will be on Monday. And so I know Mr. Glasgow. I knew him very well, was someone who I was very close to, someone who I would eternally be grateful to. Mr. Glasgow was actually my first permanent secretary when I entered politics, when I became a minister of government. He was my first permanent secretary, and he literally held my hand and guided me through uncharted waters. Of course, that was the first time I was being in that kind of position. And of course, the permanent secretary is normally your right hand, and Mr. Glasgow was indeed my right hand for the time that I was the Minister of Social Services and Social Development. He did a tremendous job. He had a heart of gold. He gave so much to so many people, and I think both of us shared the same values because we wanted to look out for the underprivileged, and Mr. Glasgow was just that type of person. We had a great relationship ever since I was in high school, because he was actually my commerce teacher, and I think in 4th and 5th form, and so he always joked around when I became his boss and said, I was your teacher and you're now my boss. And so Mr. Glasgow was a friendly, committed individual. He gave human service to the government of Nevis, to the island of Nevis, and so to his entire family, to his son Keenel, to the siblings and all of the family, we say heartfelt condolences. Someone will be sadly missed, someone who I believe was gone way too soon, and of course we extend heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Mr. Keith Glasgow. Such contribution he would have made to Nevis. And of course we also want to send condolences to the family of that young lady who lost her life in St. Kitts over the weekend as well. And as I say that, I just want to continue to reach out to our drivers, our motorists in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I would have done so during the budget debate in St. Kitts in the National Assembly in December. And we have to continue to do this. We have to continue to sing with one voice, to tell our drivers that they need to be more cautious on our roads. The life you save can be your very own. That young lady hasn't even started to live life as yet, just at the age of 18. And she would have lost her life tragically there in St. Kitts during the traffic accident. We've been having way too many traffic accidents in St. Kitts and Nevis, particularly on St. Kitts, and something really needs to be done. Of course, we know that the penalties would have been increased in terms of traffic violations when we would have passed that bill in the House. I think it was in December. But people need to take heed. People need to take heed. You have people's lives in your hand when you're driving on the road, and especially our passenger buses. Please, 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 whatever is happening on St. Kitts can happen anywhere. It can happen in Nevis as well. And so I'm making a plea here from the On the Mark program to our drivers. We know we have a lot of vehicles on the road. Almost everybody wants to own a vehicle now. But we're asking you, please be extra cautious on the road. Still too many people are using their cell phone when they are driving. Still too many people are trying to send a text message when they are driving. Still too many people are trying to read text messages when they are driving. Still too many people are trying to make a phone call when they are driving. Still too many people are trying to find their phone when it's ringing. I remember that I said something when I was in the House in St. Kitts in December that I could recall a couple of years ago. I was driving going towards Charlestown, and it was between Noel's Courtesy Garage and the junction of Prospect. And I was going down. There is a little corner there, and I was heading to town, and I saw a car coming straight towards me from the opposite direction. I was saying straight towards me. I meant straight towards me. And I had to honk my horn. And a couple days after, I met the lady who was driving. And you know what she said to me? Mr. Evelyn, I have to apologize. Because if I didn't blow my horn, she would have come straight and she would have hit me. And a couple days after, and she saw me, she said, Mr. Evelyn, sorry. She was laughing. She said, sorry. She said, my phone was ringing, and I was looking for my phone in my bag. And you know, ladies always have their bag filled with all kind of things, and they could never find what they want to find in their bag. And so I don't know where that phone was buried in her bag, but she told me, and as I said, I didn't ask her. She volunteered the information. She said to me, Mr. Evelyn, I was looking, my phone was ringing, and I was looking in my phone for my bag. So in the meantime, she's looking in her bag for her phone. In the meantime, she's looking in her bag for her phone. She's coming straight at me. And these are the kind of things that make accidents happen. The moment you take your eyes off the road for a split second, you either run off the road, you lose control, you run in and you hit somebody, you cause an accident, and you can actually cause a life there. And so I'm asking people, please, please be careful on the roads. When you get in a phone call, the phone call can wait. Nevis is small. St. Kitts is small. You can get to where you're going in quick time. And when you get to your destination, you check your phone, you call back the person. That phone call is not worth someone's life if you take someone's life. And so we are asking, we are begging, because practically all of the parliamentarians in the House in St. Kitts during the budget debate, we practically all of us were appealing to our drivers to be more cautious. And I think we've had three road fatalities for the year in St. Kitts, either 2 or 3. That's not good enough. After all of that pleading in the House in December, and now we're just in March. And so we are hopeful that we won't have any more, because we are losing too many young lives due to traffic accidents. Previously, we were losing a lot of young lives due to gun violence, and now the traffic accidents have taken over. The vehicles have taken over in taking our young lives. And so I'm begging once again, I'm pleading, all of our motorists, please be careful, be careful, be careful on the road. Okay? I hope you have heard the call, and I hope you would heed the call. All right? And so I want to send once again condolences to all who are mourning the loss of any loved ones. And we here at the Eastern Caribbean's Powers and on the Mark, we are with you at this time. Well, I have some more stuff to discuss, but I have 2 familiar faces here in the studio, right? And I know they're anxious to share what they come to share with me and with the general public this evening. And so I am going to get an opportunity to speak to them. You'll get an opportunity to hear what they're saying. And of course, if you want to call in, you get an opportunity to call in and ask them any question you may wish to ask them, or make any suggestion or comments that you may wish to make as well. And so I have two guests in the studios. They are not strangers by any means. They have been in the studios before, and so they are very much accustomed to the microphones of On Radio. And I'm delighted to have them here this evening, because guess what? We have a massive, and when I say massive, I mean a massive event coming up here on the island of Nevis tomorrow and Friday. Right? It's an event that people look forward to with bated breath every year. It's one of the biggest activities on the island of Nevis. And I'm speaking about the Agri Expo that will be happening at the ETW Park tomorrow, Thursday the 27th, and Friday the 28th of March. And so I have two persons here from the Department of Agriculture who are here to share some information with us. Of course, we do this almost practically every year because people want to know what's happening, what might be new with the Agri Expo, what to expect. And we want you out there to get all of the information. Well, not all, because you have to come to the Agri Expo to get some of the information as well, but at least you want to know what's going to be happening, so you can be prepared when you come. You probably need to know how much money to work with and that kind of stuff, because if you hear what's going to be there, you might say, well, I need an extra $500 to work with, you know. So I have two persons here in the studio, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. They're no strangers to Von Radio, they're no strangers to On The Mark, and they're no strangers to me, and so I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves.
Good evening to the listening public. Good evening, Minister Evelyn. My name is Randy Elliott, Director of Agriculture.
And yes, good evening to one and all. Mr. Minister, my colleague, Mr. Elliott. My name is Steve Reed, and I'm the Chief Extension Officer at the Department of Agriculture right here on the island of Nevis.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, I'm happy to have you. And normally, I think we normally do this program like a week before, because I know normally the evening before everybody is busy, everybody's on their face, and sometimes the tempers are flaring and people are getting upset with each other. And I'm happy that I was able to pull you all away from that little conundrum down there this evening. I know you're going to go back after the show is over, but I'm happy I was able to pull you all away to ease some of the little stress for a bit, because I'm sure you all are still a bit stressed out right there right now. I spoke to Corey this afternoon. Corey, a lady was talking to him, and he told the lady, go and cuss the minister, I can't get all the cuss. You know, and Corey was there saying that my feet are hurting and I'm on my feet all the time, but that's how it is for Agri Expo. And so, gentlemen, welcome to On The Mark. I'm happy to have you all. As I said, it's a massive event taking place tomorrow, and I want you all to tell us how are things coming along. Are we ready for tomorrow?
Basically, yes, we're more than ready for tomorrow. The venue is already set. Currently, you have persons who are bringing in their stuff right now. One of the things we have indicated to individuals that those who are moving the heavier stuff, whether it may be the plants, those businesses who have things to bring in, to bring them in this evening. Within the food area, those persons who have things to bring in. For the local manufacturers, such as the beer, again, we'd have asked them to bring in their stuff. So currently,
such as the what? The beer?
The beers, yes, the beer. Navy speak beer. So basically, when we left there a while ago, the traffic there is very busy because everybody is trying to get themselves settled in.
I could imagine, because actually I was there this afternoon when I left work after 4. I was there, spent some time there, and the traffic was already getting busy, so I could imagine what it is like now this evening. Of course, I think it's an excellent idea when we would have started and we would have told people, bring your items in the evening before. Yes. Because I know normally on the morning of the start of the event is normally it's a mad rush, and the traffic is horrible, and especially when it's dry, the place is dusty. So I'm happy that people are actually heeding that call now and are now bringing most of their bulky items in the evening. Now, I know this is an event that has grown tremendously over the years. Of course, every time I reflect on it, I say, well, you know, we started in such humble beginnings at Prospect, you know, in our natural environment there up at Prospect at the agricultural station, and then we moved to the villa, and now I think we're at our permanent home at the ETW ETW Park. I would have been there this afternoon. I've seen the layout. The layout looks good as usual. You just mentioned a while ago Nevis Peak Brewery, and I don't think they've ever attended or participated. So it begs the question, what is the participation like this year? What was the registration like this year? Do we have a lot of new vendors coming on board this year? Tell us, what is the participation looking like for 2025?
It's quite significant. One of the things that we did this year, previously we would have facilitated a registration close to the date. From last year, we realized that we have to put a cap on it in terms of timeline. And we still have, even up to today, a young lady came and asked if we do squeeze-ins, right?
I've never heard that one.
If we do squeeze-ins, right?
Mm-hmm.
But based on what we have seen thus far, we have seen significant growth in areas. Last year, it was a bit disappointing in terms of the agro-processors and so forth, and we would have had conversations to various agro-processors. I think last year we had just 2. This year we're up to about 8 agro-processors this year. We also seeing new businesses popping up. Last year we would have had from SIDU, some small businesses who are now just starting, so they came as a group, and this year we actually seeing them coming as independent individuals, like people who make the makeup, the nail polish, and so forth, all made locally. We also realized that we had to put an additional line on the park, and there are some areas who are also extended within the ETW park, and persons who normally do the half tents, they're also registered for full tents. So it is quite significant in terms of growth. We realized this afternoon that we somewhat run out of plywoods that we normally provide. So we realized that we actually ran out of tents on the island of Nevis also. So it is quite a significant event, and we must say thanks to the persons who would have adhere in terms of the request, in terms of partnering with us to be part of the Agricultural Expo.
So in essence, you're saying that we have more persons participating in 2025 than we had in 2024?
Yes. In terms of paying individuals, in 2024, we saw something like 50 plus. These are paid individuals. This year we're up to about 71 paid individuals. We also see
how much you say you had last year?
About 50 plus.
And you're up to how much this year?
70.
Wow.
We also saw some new government departments on board also. We also saw some expansions in terms of some of the businesses and so forth. So it clearly shows that the general public is actually listening to the call of the agricultural sector and willing to be a part of the sector.
Fantastic indeed.
Yes, and I would like to put in there, because Mr. Elliott like to put things in a much diplomatic way. Right? Mr. Elliott is late here tonight. You know why?
Why?
He was putting up 2 more tents.
For 2 more squeeze-ins?
2 more tents. That's 10 by 20 tents.
Oh my God.
We collaborate with community development. We went around to all the community centers on the island.
Because I was asking this often where you get all these tables from.
You hear this now? We take all the chairs and all the tables from all the community center. We rented almost all the tables from individuals who does rent tables. They rent out, and we still not got enough table. So that shows the growth that we have seen at this event. It's bursting at its seams, and I know by next year we will redesign it to hold more individuals. But at the same time, you will still have that free flow and atmosphere where you could enjoy and see, and you feel welcome, not squeeze up. So the design is very relaxing.
But as Mr. Elliott spoke about that persons asking for squeezing today. Now the notice for registration went out since January, I think.
Yes.
Now, why do you all think people always wait until the last minute? When this because every opportunity I got, I was calling into On the Mark, telling people to make sure you get to agriculture to register. The notice was here on Vaughan for weeks upon weeks, and it was on social media. Why do people always wait till the last minute to try to put you on the spot?
Sometimes what we find, like for instance, this afternoon, the young lady is someone who I don't know, never seen her before, but they have a business.
Sound like somebody who just fly in then?
Well, probably, but they have a business. But when they actually came up in the park and they actually saw what's happening, they were like, I just need to be a part of this. I just need to be a part of this. So
And she only saw the setup.
She only saw the setup.
But she don't know what's going to be happening here tomorrow and Friday.
She only saw the setup. But she just, I have to be a part of this. I need to be a part of this. Even if I have to sell from the trunk of my car, I need to be a part of it.
Yes, and it's very difficult. Over the years, we have said that agriculture, to get new farmers, is very difficult.
Yes.
So when people come on board and show interest, we do not want to leave out anyone.
I understand.
That could be another success story that grow from a small to a huge enterprise. And so once people ask, we try our best to accommodate. It's just in our nature.
And as you spoke about the farmers, what is the participation like from our farmers this year? Because a lot of people come to the Agri Expo. Of course, they want to be exposed to all of the other things that are happening there, but a lot of persons come specifically because they see the 2 days as 2 market days for them, and so they come to buy their stuff for the weekend. Only yesterday a lady told me she want to start doing her shopping for Easter, so she want to go to the Agri Expo to buy her sweet potato, and so people see it as an opportunity to go. It's like a market day on Thursday, a market day on Friday for them, and so a lot of people come specifically to buy vegetables, fruits, fresh produce generally. So what is the participation level like from the farmers?
The farmers' interest is always peak. We have these 2 individuals three who are pioneer with us. That's Evelyn Thompson, Elmina Webb, and Sally Paris.
Yes.
So these 3 have been pioneers with us. But for this year, we'd have seen a new entry from Nature's Farm. That's Mr. Pinney. Again, it's something that he always wanted to do, but again,
that's Mr. Pinney who does the hydroponics.
The hydroponics.
That's great.
After looking at last year and what last year was, he decided he wanted to be a part of it this year. We also saw A1 Farms coming in, and again, starting from a space of 10 by 10, A1 Farms is now occupying a space of 30 by 40, right? So it clearly shows that these people are actually growing, and the demand is there. When Nature's Farm came this afternoon, and they actually saw the layout again. They asked, can we add another 10 to the back of us? Right? So it is there. You have farmers who may not have everything in terms of creating a display, but they would have gone around and collect different things from different farmers to ensure that they're there also. So one may not see a Donald Daniel, one may not see a Mike Brown, but again, bet you that their products are actually at the event.
Fantastic. And of course, based on our theme, which is a new era leveraging technology for sustainable and inclusive agriculture, I assume that quite a lot of technology will also be on show there at the Agri Expo.
Yes. For instance, if you look at for extension, we would have had some challenges in terms of monkeys and the island of Nevis. So one of the things that will be on display is different things that persons could do as it relates to helping to repel or help to protect the plants from monkeys. We also look at within the extension in terms of utilizing natural repellent plants and so forth. We're also looking at drone technology. Our guys have been part of a program for the past month and a half in terms of drone training, in terms of piloting. So you'll see that technology in terms of also demonstration of utilizing a drone in terms of applying pesticides and so forth to your field. So technology would be there across the board. You also see through our marketing in terms of the utilizing of and equipment to check your sugar content within your fruits. You know, sometimes people are like, oh, the melon is sweet or whatever the case may be. So again,
So you can do that on the farm.
you could do that on the farm. So
Okay.
that again would also be one of the technical demos there, in terms of showing people how you could actually test your fruit with a small piece of equipment to see the bricks content.
Well, since you're talking about technical demos, let us zero in on those now. I know the demos are what people normally look forward to, including the food demos as well. So maybe while we're talking about technical demos, you can let the listening public and the viewing public know what they can expect in terms of the technical demos as well as the food preparation demos, because I know before we actually got into the technical demos, we focus a lot on the food preparation
Yes.
demos. So maybe you all can give us an idea as to what demos will be taking place, what days, so people can be aware.
Okay. On the first day, that's tomorrow, Thursday, I think one of our first demonstration will be coming from the drone technology in agriculture, and this will be put on by the SKN Robotics Association
Okay.
at around 11.
Nice.
Where Mr. Elliott spoke about this drone that they can apply pesticide.
Yes.
You could mark out territory, mark out, measure the lands and so forth, so it will be more accurate. They also will be identifying pests, common pests and disease, and homemade remedies
Yes.
by the quarantine division, and that should be about 2:30 in the afternoon. On the second day, the Friday, we have quite a bit of food demonstration. No, let me stick on the Thursday. Food demonstration for the Thursday. We have lamb sausage by Chef Michael Henville.
Lamb sausage
Yes, lamb.
And again, the lamb sausage, that's a new product again
from the abattoir.
from the abattoir,
Wow.
and this will be this first time it's going to be displayed to the public.
Yes, and then we'll have some food sampling, mango cheese and sorrel jam.
That again is a new product coming from agro processing.
Yes, and then we have some food sampling again later on in the afternoon. Smoked chicken by Achaz for the first day. On the second day, that's the Friday, we have some more food sampling of the mango and cheese, because based on what I'm hearing, after the first day, people then want to come back and try, because they can
course.
tell someone.
And there's
So-
some people who will come the second day who may not have been there the
Yes.
first day.
Yes. So that's why we repeat it, because it's a new product. We want
Right.
it to get out there. We also will have conch chowder, again being prepared. We have food sampling again later in that afternoon, beef sausage by the abattoir. We have some Scotch bonnet salsa.
That's so hot. That sounds
We're
hot.
mixing in everything here. The technical demos, we have how to use the PH Plus, the marketing arm, and I must mention that two technical persons have flew all the way from Trinidad, marketing arm, our sponsor.
Yes.
And
Sponsor.
yes, and they have been with us since I have been in the department. They have been supplying us with environmentally safe chemicals, so they have traveled right here to teach our farmers how to mix and use the chemicals in the correct way
Right.
and the correct rate.
Good.
So they will have a number of demonstrations there. That's the pH plus, that's to soften the water so the chemical can work much better.
Yes.
You make tap water like rainwater basically. All right, we have the Xenic, that's the chemical again that have the chemical to stick onto the leaf, so when you already apply, the rain doesn't wash it off. We have water catchment by the vet division, so that when you have your animals, and you know we're trying to push for these livestock farmers to do a more intensive system.
Yes.
And one of the important thing about that is to have a sustained water source for the animals, especially in the dry season. So this is something that the vet division have tackled. And as Randy said before about using technology, I want the public to know that we are not putting on a show here just for this event. These are technologies that we use throughout the year. I don't know if the public would know that Nevis does most of its production during the dry season. We have the technology. If you go on the pier, you would see a lot of transfer of foods going down to St. Kitts during the dry periods. We have great irrigation, we have fertigation, we have greenhouse technology, we have help me here, Randy.
You're using some big words here, fertigation. People need to know what you mean.
Right? No, that's when they come. That's when they come. And so we are able to sustain production.
Yes.
Throughout the dry season. And when the rain start to fall and the guys on the other side have these huge acreage, well, then that's their time to play. But during the dry season, now all throughout the year, we're able to sustain and have a constant flow of production by using all of this technology. We have also did some tests, experimental plots with Tabasco, and out of that we have spurred the interest of the public. And so individuals had met us and said, hey, we normally, agro-processors, produce hot sauce. How is it that you want to go and export? And we right here and you're not satisfying us. So a whole concept is there now to re-engage these individuals so that we can supply them. So you have a twofold effect. A local business and a farmer can pick it up to supply. We went so far as to prepare an animal repellent made from hot pepper. They say it repels the monkey. I sprayed it. I haven't seen any attacks as yet. I don't know if they're waiting for it to wear off, but I'm taking data. But you got to check it out. So
it's locally made.
Locally made.
Locally made. Environmentally
from
friendly.
hot pepper.
From hot pepper that you spray. I don't know if the monkey smell the heat. Somebody taste it and scream out and say, hey, don't trouble that. But so far, we have been getting good results from it and for other pests as well. So there's quite a bit of stuff for one to come. I'm not taking everything from Randy, but as you spoke about farmers, we cater for farmers. We cater for folks who want to come and have a cultural experience, whether it's entertainment, whether it's the cultural foods made from these fresh vegetables that are on sale there. We have a whole range. No matter what age you are, what your interests are, there is something there for you. It could be in the area of, we have roofing companies there. We have
fencing companies.
We have a one-stop.
And not cutting you off, but some people may argue that the event has grown so tremendously and it has grown so huge that it may be losing a bit of its agriculture touch, but that is not the case because every vendor that is here is connected in some way to agriculture. You just spoke about fencing. People need fencing. You spoke about roofing. That can help with harvesting the water, right? And so even the government departments who are there, they are connected in some way. The people who are making their cosmetics, they are using local products, and the people who are selling their food, it's from local products as well. And so it's a connection. The agro-processors, there is value addition, and so every vendor that is there, every booth that is there, it's related to agriculture in some way, and so people can see the link that is represented there. And so even though some people may argue, well, listen, this is supposed to be an agriculture thing, you shouldn't be having all of these different booths. No, that is not the case. You need to see the connection. You need to see the linkage.
Yes, the water department, education department,
physical planning, social security, flow in terms of because
technology,
because you realize now a lot of these farmers now, especially greenhouse farmers, they now put in sensors in the farm that requires internet,
right?
Again, and some of them may even require remote internet, and again, so there's a service that flow will be providing to our farmers also.
Well, I'm hearing that the events of predial larceny has gone down a bit.
I hope it will disappear forever.
And I think one of the major reasons for this is these remote cameras.
Yes.
Where you have
And just to cut in there, if people don't know what pray the last name mean teething. Go ahead, Steve.
Yes, so you have these cameras now that we have exposed a few farmers to,
Yes.
so we tried them. They put up in remote places,
Mhm.
there's solar, and they get the chip from the different flow and digital, so
Mhm.
they get the internet. And anything moves, they take a snap
Mm-hmm.
and send it to the smartphone.
Right.
And so you see if someone is on your farm, if a monkey come in, if
Mhm.
something goes wrong, you know, you have it instant on your phone. And all of this is part of technology.
Precisely. So as I said, I the link is there. So all of those businesses, all of those government departments, there's a link. Because agriculture is linked to everything.
Yes, it is.
I always tell people agriculture is linked to everything. And before we move on, I just want to remind members of the general public, we are discussing Agri Expo. If you have a question, if you're out there, you have been going to the activity over the years, if you have a question, you have a comment, you are free to call in. You can interrupt us at any time, 869-469-1616 or 170. I have with me this evening Mr. Randy Elliott and Mr. Steve Reed. We are discussing what will be happening at the ETW Park tomorrow, the 27th, and on Friday, the 28th of March. And as I said, if you have a question, if you have a query, if you want anything cleared up, please feel free to call in 869-469-1616 or 1700. We still have a lot of grounds to cover because there's so much to cover. Tell us a little bit about who the patron is and tell us a little bit about the patron.
Well, before we go to the patron,
Yes.
our theme this year is a new era, on leveraging technology
Mhm.
for sustainable agriculture. And our patron this year is none other than Mr. Daniel Atherton.
Yes.
He's an individual who have been with the ministry and department for quite some while. He's a farmer also, one who have been using traditional agriculture sync with technology as it relates to water harvesting, solar systems and farms, etc. And again, so we believe that based on the theme, Mr. Atherton was the most fitted individual in terms of being the patron this year.
Fantastic. And as I said, I want to agree with you because I know Danny has been around for a very long time. When I got into agriculture, I spent all of my work life in the civil service in agriculture, and I met Danny in agriculture. And I always said Danny is one of the persons who spearheaded the NEBIS model, with that arrangement with Four Seasons. Danny would have worked there at the marketing unit for quite some time. He worked in extension, so he has a lot of experience. He's now a farmer in his own right, and as you rightly said, using a lot of technology as well. So I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Mr. Danny Atherton, for being our patron for 2025, and as Mr. Elliott would have indicated, a very fitting individual to be our patron, would have contributed so much to agriculture. And I think Danny has been in agriculture practically all of his life. So I want to congratulate him as well. And so tomorrow and Thursday, 2 massive days, we have an opening ceremony. What time is the opening ceremony going to be starting?
We have the opening ceremony tomorrow. Is a very brief ceremony, should not go beyond 45 minutes. The opening ceremony is at 9:30, so we are hoping by 10:15 we should be finished with the opening ceremony. In terms of the other booths and so forth, well, our gates open from 6:30 in the morning. The abattoir
6:30. Oh, you mean for persons to bring stuff in?
For persons to come in and purchase also. The abattoir would have indicated that they're moving at 6:30. They're ready for sales.
I know sometimes you make a break in the sales during the opening ceremony. Is that going to happen again tomorrow?
Yes, we have asked the vendors again to actually pause the activities during the ceremony, especially during the periods of the speeches, the prayer, and the national anthem. So we would have asked our vendors to just pause the activities during that time.
You just spoke about the abattoir going to be there early to sell meat and so on. I know you mentioned something about lamb something earlier on.
Yes.
any more new items from the abattoir? Because I know every year the abattoir has a reputation of one or two new items every year. Are you aware of any other new items that's going to be coming out?
There's another item there that Mr. Griffin wants you to come to his booth for you to sit.
Okay.
Can't give everything.
Can't give it-
Can't give everything.
Can't give away everything.
But he would have assured me that he's stocked. Again, he's not holding anything for anybody, so it's a first come, first serve basis.
I hope he has enough mutton, because I know mutton is the hottest seller every
We
year.
ask the general public to come out early because, again, sometimes we have our brothers and sisters from St. Kitts coming over on the very first boat in terms of shopping, and by 8 o'clock they're back in St. Kitts. So we're asking our people to come out and support the abattoir and the other areas.
Good. Now, I just spoke about the abattoir and the other areas. I know, of course, we would earlier on we would have spoken about the farmers, the crop farmers and so on. But of course, we know that the agriculture department, we normally have a booth, and there is normally a mad rush at that booth. I was there this afternoon. I saw some massive watermelons there this afternoon, some weighing like 35 pounds.
Yes.
Watermelons like that were grown at Prospect.
Yes.
I saw honeydew melons, I saw tomatoes, I saw carrots, I saw some huge pumpkins there as well, grown at Potworks. I saw the people's favorite, onions. And I believe if there's a year that we don't have onion, there'll be a riot.
Yes.
I am serious. I believe there will be a riot at the Agri Expo if there is 1 year that we do not have onions. So you all care to comment on what we have from the agriculture department. Of course, as I said, I would have seen these stuff. I don't know what else is coming.
There's actually 2 persons met me last weekend and indicated to me, make sure you have our onions. Again, we would have add some additional onions to what we had last year. We have both the white and the red onions. You mentioned the honeydew, the cantaloupe, the tomatoes, the pumpkin, the carrots, again, all local, and we also have some sweet potatoes also. Not in large quantities. Again, the sweet potatoes will be coming in tomorrow. So freshly digged. So we're asking the persons to come out and shop. We also have green bananas, etc. Again, there's no holding for anybody. It's a first come, first serve.
Stick a pin. We have a call online. Good evening. Call you live and on the mark.
Yes, good afternoon, good night, my good friend Eric.
How are you?
That's been I good, but I ain't coming up this time.
Not coming up this time. Why?
No, but there's some people coming up.
I know. So how come you're not coming this time?
No, because I have to work.
Okay, all right.
But, yeah.
Well, we're gonna miss you this time around. Okay.
No, but not next year, Gaswell.
So you're planning for next year?
Yes, Gaswell.
Okay, all right.
All right.
All right. It's good to hear you.
I'm listening to you, What them is from? Where you think I'm from?
I know.
And I'm hearing good things happening up there, because when I come up there, man, my belly was full of jelly water. Boy, I never drink so much of jelly water in my life. It was good. The jelly water was good. And I bring them with me too,
Fantastic.
And the coconut drops. Oh yes, and the coconut drops.
All right. Well, I hope you have somebody to bring back something for you from the
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Good. While you cannot come, I'm hoping you have somebody to bring your stuff for you down.
Yes.
Okay, but we will miss you, and thank you for calling.
I know that. Okay, I'll leave it.
All the best. Thank you very much. Yes.
You're
So
welcome, and continue to do all the best while you can. And when you could speak about me, this people know.
I know.
Know about how much a producer, you produce up here.
Mhm.
And these big carrots, and these big pumpkins, and these big watermelon. and some juicy tomato. Ay.
Thank you, Jacinta. You have a good night, eh?
You're welcome.
All the best,
You
dear.
too.
All right, take care. That's my good friend
Okay,
Jacinta,
yeah.
dear. She's originally from Nevis, living in Statia when I was down there for Statia there last year. We had such a good time together. All right. So yes. So as I said, when I saw those massive watermelons and pumpkins this afternoon, my heart was full. My heart was really full, and so I know people are going to be coming out in their numbers. And as we speak of this, I remember when we were here last year, because Mr. Elliott and Mr. Reed, if anybody is to buy one of them watermelons or one of them big pumpkins, it's gonna be hard for them to lift it up. I know last year you all would have done something in terms of trying to get some transportation to help people out with their shopping. Is that going to be organized again this year in terms of the golf carts? Because trust me, if somebody wants to buy one of those watermelons or one of those pumpkins, it's going to be difficult for them to get it out of the park. I know people won't be able to drive into the park.
Yes.
So any arrangements are being made to assist people in getting their shopping out like last year?
Yes, we have that in place also. The golf carts will be situated in a white tent just above the National Bank tent. So again, persons feel free to just go to that location, but more so the golf carts will be making random drives around in terms of by the farmers, by the abattoir and so forth, just to see if there's anybody is there who want a lift. Yeah.
And to add to that, I must say, with the influx of people that we are expecting, we need them to park properly.
Please, I was going to come to that.
Yes.
But since we're talking about that, let's talk about that now. You need to tell people who will be allowed inside of the park, ETW Park, where they should be parking, what is the entrance for those who are coming in, what is the exit, because we need order. Because I know, as I said, it's going to be so many people. And you know, nowadays, because of the massive influx of vehicles on the road, I mean, you have a lot of traffic jams. I mean, when you're going into Charlestown nowadays at mornings, there's a long line sometimes, you know. And you know, this morning, Minister Brand was saying that when he was coming out of the intersection there from when he was coming to town, he had to wait there for about 10 minutes before he can get out because of this line of traffic, this steady traffic. I've witnessed it a couple times going into town at mornings, and so a lot of vehicles are on the road. There's a lot of people who normally want to go into the park who don't necessarily need to drive into the park. So tell us about the arrangements with regards to traffic.
Well, I'll let Mr. Elliott handle this. And if you miss anything, because there's so much, if you miss anything, I stand by to add. Mr. Elliott.
Well, absolutely no pedestrian will be able to drive into the park. Again, that's one of the reasons why we have the golf carts on the ground to take the stuff out. Parking would be at the Villa grounds. Parking is also up by the Charleston Primary School, that on Lateral and that area.
Charleston Preschool.
Sorry. And again, well, the crowd might be so big, you may have to look parking up by Charleston Primary School too, right? But those will be designated for parking. So we're asking persons to adhere to those rules. Parking on the school road again would be a no-no. You will not be permitted to park on the school road again, because we have to ensure that traffic will be able to flow freely. For the vendors, we would have indicated to the vendors that they have this evening to bring in the heavy stuff. Tomorrow morning, you'll bring in the lighter stuff. From 9 a.m., your access to the park will start to be limited. So in terms of, even if you're a vendor, you have stuff to bring in at 9 o'clock, again, your access will be very limited. The only persons who will be, so when you're entering by the main gate by Best Buy,
yes,
and you're exiting by the gate by the pavilion. Parking again for some for persons with booths, you could also park on the hill within the park also. So those are just some of the areas, but only persons with booths are permitted to park on the hill in the park.
As a matter of fact, I was going to ask about that spot on the hill. But so that is reserved not for persons who are attending, but for the vendors.
Just for vendors.
Okay. Normally, and we have this problem all the time. When we were at the villa, it used to happen. And sometimes, even though we make an appeal, because vendors have a way sometimes of parking up in front or behind of their booth and don't want to leave their vehicle there all the time.
Well, we would have had a conversation with the police as it relates to that persons being parked. Again, we also had discussion with the guys who actually tow vehicles. So again, absolutely no parking on the grounds.
So some people may get their vehicle towed.
No parking on the grounds.
So what Mr. Elliott is saying in a nutshell, folks, all the areas that you will normally park for Culturama, this yard, like Chrome Bakery, that section that is normally cleared.
Right.
Go up there and park.
And walk down.
And
Exercise
walk
is
down.
good.
And I will say something else here as well. If you come into the Villa grounds, please do not park in Best Buy parking lot.
That's true, because it's for the customers.
That's for the customers.
You might get towed there as well.
If they realize that you're parked there and you're not in the supermarket, your name will put over the loudspeaker to come and remove your vehicle, and then it will be removed. So please.
And they're not being unreasonable, because they need space for their customers, and there are persons who may want to come to the ETW park, to the event, and may want to spend maybe an hour or two, and you cannot be taking up a spot for customers for 2 hours in Best Buy parking lot. So I don't think they are being unreasonable in any way.
Yes.
Or all day.
All day. You're right, because some people, they come to the villa and because there's so many things to see, they don't want to leave.
No.
Because there's so many booths there, and sometimes when you go and you spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes at each booth, you end up spending about 3-4 hours at the villa at the ETW park. And so we have to reiterate with this parking, and as I said, I know a lot of persons, they want to collect things, so they said, I'm going to drive in, and then when they drive in, it's just a mess on the park.
I'm sorry, that would be a no-no.
Only who have the banners.
Persons who come to shop, you will not be permitted to enter the gates.
Period. So
in terms of driving.
If you're working in Charlestown and you're already parked, leave your vehicle.
Walk up
town.
Buy your lunch, socialize, and then walk back to your office.
Precisely.
And it will be much easier for them to adhere to such.
So in essence, and as I said, like as you rightly said, that persons who are working in the heart of town, there's no need for you to bring your vehicle up.
No.
Just leave your vehicle downtown, walk up, do what you have to do, and then you walk back down. Because we're accustomed to now that people, if they want to drive for 10 meters, if they want to go for 10 meters, they want to drive.
Yes.
And we need to start walking more. I know Health and Gender had something the other day where they were encouraging people to leave their vehicle up at the villa and walk into town. And so this is another indication or another opportunity for persons to do a little walking from the villa grounds or from up by the preschool grounds to the ETW park. It's really not a long walk.
No,
it's really not a long walk indeed. And so I'm happy that you all have these things in place. And I know normally some of the persons you have at the gates are very strict.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that they will be very strict as well tomorrow.
Well, each gate is just not the persons who will be collecting. Each gate also has a security to also enforce. The gates, that's the entrance and exit. For persons on foot would be the small gate there at the school road. That's just the opposite of the villa. For those persons who park within the villa, you enter that small gate. There's also the gate on the top of the hill. That's just below the cultural village. You're able to walk in and out of that gate. And you also the main gate down close to Best Buy.
So there are 3 paying gates where you can pay and enter.
Yes, the gate by the pavilion. Again, it will be a no pedestrian gate. Only vehicles exiting. Okay. Again, and one reason being, we do not want any incidents in terms of the fact that most of the traffic will be going through that gate. We don't want any incidents and so forth. So we advise in persons, again, if you park along the cultural complex area, enter at the gate to the top of the hill. That's the gate just after the cultural village.
Fantastic. Well, I'm happy to hear that. So in essence, listeners, you can enter by foot by 3 gates to pay, and remind us what the fee is. A small fee.
Small fee to enter is only $5 EC. Children in uniform, you enter free once you have on your school uniform. Again, there's a clause for persons in school uniform though, that on Friday, once it's 5 o'clock, you cannot enter in your uniform once it's 5.
Okay.
Once it's at 5, you cannot enter in your uniform.
We still have a lot to cover. Melissa, you have that ad queued up. We can give a listen to the ad. And once again, those of you who are listening and you want to call in, you can interrupt us at any time.
With agriculture, right in our corner.
It's that time of year again for the spotlight to shine on agriculture. Yes, I am talking about the annual Agri Expo scheduled for Thursday 27th and Friday 28th March 2025 at the ETW Park in the heart of Charlestown. Come and join us along with patron Danny Atherton as we celebrate all things agriculture under the theme A New Era, Leveraging Technology for Sustainable and Inclusive Agriculture. Come, check out the farmers market that will offer the very best in quality of locally grown fruits and vegetables. And of course, you can shop for your local meats, agro-processed items, fruit trees, ornamentals, cosmetics, craft items, and so much more. While on site, be sure to grab your lunch or a snack from the food court and keep cool from the well-stocked bar. Other attractions include food and technical demos, exotic zoo, kids zone, domino competition, and of course, live entertainment. There will be something to suit everyone's taste. Agri Expo 2025 goes from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. on Thursday and 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. on Friday. And you pay a small fee of only $5 to enter. School children in uniform, you are absolutely free. See you at the ETW Park on Thursday 27th and Friday 28th March for Agri Expo 2025. For more information, follow Nevis Agriculture on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Fishing, farming, livestock, and poultry make up the pack. Grocery figure will get the country on the right track.
Thank you very much. And of course, we are discussing Agri Expo, that massive event taking place tomorrow and Friday, 27th and 28th of March at the ETW Park in the heart of Charlestown, put on by the Ministry and the Department of Agriculture. And of course, it's normally a huge event that attracts so many people. I have here with me this evening, I have Mr. Randy Elliott and Mr. Steve Reed. We are discussing, and we're going to get right back to the discussion after we take this call. Good evening, you're live and on the mark.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes.
I would like to commend you for the agriculture that you're putting on, the show that you're putting on to next 2 days.
Thank you.
But there's a fundamental thing that I want to speak about is investing in agriculture is investing in the future.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that you have to get the youth them involved. And if government need to take this thing serious, their markets around, that they could export food too. I mean, Guadeloupe is one of them. There's a massive market here in Guadeloupe, but we don't tap into.
Yes.
Why we started the OECS. I think Dominica is one of the only country thinking the OECS will exploit this market to its fullest extent. And there we have to look. I think that we should invest more into the agriculture and get the youths them involved. Mechanize agriculture, give them land and tell them designate a crop. I will take the crops then different time in different areas to the youth and different time. And so we could eliminate poverty. Because the food intake bill is like a cash cow they're waiting to exploit, and we're not doing it. If we only exploit the food import bill, we could eliminate poverty amongst the youth and eliminate crime in St. Kitts and Nevis. But we're not serious. A $10 million investment, buy some tractors, buy covers, fencing, give the youth some training, attach a specific individuals to them who know about what they're doing. And after the year, you could leave them on the paying tax and still developing the economy through agriculture. Exporting. What do they laugh right to see that sometimes, you know what's the price of ginger for a kilogram here in Guadeloupe right now? Over €10. Imagine we were getting back that in €5 for a kilo in Navy. We could exploit the market.
Yes.
But we're not exploiting now for the export. We need to go improve production. And we could only improve production through investment. And when you invest in the youth, you could eliminate crime because they'll be occupied. And so we really got the thing, we sound good, But there's a fundamental shift that needs to be seen. You need to invest at least $10-20 million because we get it back. If you invest $20 million today, in 3 years, 4 years time, you tap into the food import bill, you could double the amount of money that you put in terms of getting back in taxes, in paying back for the loans and other things. But we're not doing that. You need long-term planning and getting the youth involved, shifting your return to beat your weapons into plowshare. That should be a team. Turning your weapons into a plowshare. That's the investment for the future. Because as you see with Donald Trump, we cannot do on tourism and Marco Rubio them. We have to first focus on feeding ourselves, processing the excess, and storing what other days do. Build storage room, build more reservoir. I think every village in St. Kitts is supposed to have their own reservoir. Invest in agriculture. So we won't depend on when the rain falls. When the rain falls, we catch as much as it is possible. We could use it in dry times. And so there's a fundamental need to shift and invest. Because for airline tickets and seats and airline planes that don't have nobody on them, we could take some of the money that we invest in the airline and tourism industry and put it into agriculture. Lift agriculture from where it is and make it a frontline part of our economy because there is money there to be made. The food into building a cash cow waiting to exploit. Give thanks.
Thank you very much, caller. And caller, I want to thank you for that call. You made some excellent points, and I agree with you 100% with all of what you would have said. Anybody who knows me know that agriculture is a part of me. Ever since I was growing up, I mean, I've spent all of my work life in agriculture. Is agriculture I love very much, and you're correct. Yes, we need to invest more, and I've said this many times as well. I've said it at regional fora as well, that all regional governments need to invest more in agriculture. You made some excellent points about exploiting our regional markets. The markets there, we have been having discussions many times. The market there in St. Martin is wide open. Statia, Saba, St. Bart's, these are Anguilla. I mean, these are neighboring islands. Montserrat, we've had requests from Montserrat as well. And so the markets there are wide open, and you're correct. We need to take advantage. I know we would have done some exploration sometimes. Sometimes the issue is the transportation. We need to try to get that sorted out. But caller, you made some really good points, and I agree with you 100% because the three of us who are here, I'm sure we all have agriculture at heart, and we would like to see more young people getting involved in agriculture as well. And that is why when we're having these events, we want a lot of young people to come, because no more is agriculture about walking ground. Agriculture is about a business. Agriculture is not just about using hoe and fork now like when we were growing up. We spoke about technology, and once you utilize the technology, you can do so much. And of course, there's money in agriculture because people must eat. And so, caller, thank you. Gentlemen, yes. I don't know if anyone want to react to what the young man said.
That's one of the reasons that we moved from having open day into an expo.
Yes.
And one of the major sector within this expo is the financial aspect. We have like national banks, the credit union, I think SIDU, small development, so that when you come and you get an idea, they can talk to you through the process, make a booking, an appointment, and you go in and get the financial assistance that you need to get your business, your agricultural business, your processing business on the move. And there's a lot of stuff that the department on their end have done to assist, such as giving you a longer lease agreement, so you have land security, so that a bank feels comfortable giving you these funds because they know that you have the land for at least 10-year period, 5.
A renewal every 5 years.
A renewal every 5 years. So they know you have the land, so you can invest in it. And most business is profitable within the first 2 years, 2 to 3 years. Agriculture, it could be much quicker, but that's the template. So I agree with the caller, and I'm now appealing to the young folks. When you come on out, I'm appealing to the businessmen and women out there in society to invest into agriculture. Not just having the money on the bank, but invest in it. Food, everyone must eat.
It must.
And food security is what we need at this present moment. So once again, we're not at the end yet, but I'm pleading and I'm telling everyone to come on out. You may just have an idea. You may see something that starts this revolution on this island here of Nevis, and the place that could spark this idea is right there at the ETW Park.
Precisely.
So come on out tomorrow into Friday, and if by chance you miss it, the department doors are open
all the time.
Randy never locked the door yet. Well, not for me. Alright, so come on and have a conversation.
Okay, Mr. Elliott, I want you to react as well, but we have another call online before you react. Caller, good evening, you're live and on the mark.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Evelyn. You hearing me?
I am hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, I'm calling out of station.
Yes.
For a while, at least, it's my first call for the year.
Okay, well, I'm happy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so happy New Year to you guys.
Thank you, and the same to you.
What have you? Well, I know I just got word a whole group of boats are coming up tomorrow.
Of course we are. They always do.
Yeah, I know they always do, so make sure you treat them good.
They're always well treated, and that's why they keep coming back every year.
Good, because, well, my route is in Nevis, you know.
I know. I know. Yes.
So, if they tell me they will get good treatment, I don't push up my mouth.
You won't have to do that, sir, at all.
I know that, man.
They will get good treatment.
The main thing, I must say congratulations.
Thank you.
To you guys, you know, year after year, this thing going on. I can't make it for practical reasons, but however, one folk, let me share this with you. A few of them tell me the first time around they went, they enjoyed it. So this time, they don't walk with the suitcase.
That's good.
They bring the suitcase. So many things that they see that they like and what have you. But congratulations, man, and all the best, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so very much.
And, really and truly. Any sweet potatoes in this?
Mr. Elliott?
It's a first come, first serve, but you have a few.
They have a little bit, not much.
All right. Give the much to those who come. I know where to put in my order to get some.
All right, sir.
We're coming out of Nevis, but all the best.
Thank you.
And it's exciting.
It is.
It's exciting.
It is.
And we must eat what we grow.
Oh, good. And the opening ceremony will be carried live on VON tomorrow. So even though you're not here, you can listen in if you have the time.
But listen, I'll tell you this one. My children, they're station born. And the two who are home, they tell me, and when they talk with other people, they tell them, well, I only passing through here in station. I live in St. Kitts Nevis.
Okay, sir.
So every day except, well, I'm a 7-day Adventist, except on Sabbath, I would hear what's happening in the Federation.
Good.
By all of the radio station. Yes, my heart and soul is in that regard.
Amen.
And let me say too, my condolences to, well, I know it's in St. Kitts and even in Nevis, those who have suffered accidents and have lost their lives through accident. Just give me a moment. Just today or yesterday and today we had two major funerals. Youngsters, young people got in accidents, motorcycles, and they lost their lives. Sadly, when one was transported to St. Martin, he didn't reach there.
Wow.
And while they were preparing the other one, so that when the helicopter comes back, they didn't reach there either.
Wow.
They died. And so we're in a state of grieving and mourning because, to call my village, just to let you understand.
Yes.
Stacia is like Brickhill.
I know.
Family tie up here, family tie up there. And so when you talk to people in Brickhill, you better careful who you talk to.
That's right. Because
you complain one family member to an next you know. And it's the same thing here in Stacia. So we are in mourning and we're saddened. And our condolences too goes out to those who would have lost their lives.
Yes.
Through traffic accident there in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you.
And All the best, man.
Thank you, and condolences to the folks in Statia as well. I know it's a nice, loving community down there. I was there last year in November, and the people are just so warm and sweet, you know. So my condolences to the folks there in Statia as well. I know it's like a big happy family there.
Yeah, I really were here because one of our streets is named after a Bukil woman.
Yes, and I was there for that naming.
I know that.
Yes.
I missed you. I somehow or the other.
Yes.
I missed that occasion. I couldn't be, so I didn't see you.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
All the very best, and we will treat your Statia people fine when they come. Don't worry.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Elliott, you want to react to that previous caller now?
Well, I'd just like to thank the caller for the call and the comments that he would have made. He's so correct in terms of having youths within agriculture having more investment in terms of in agriculture. While it's something that we wish for, it is not something that's going to happen overnight. We have currently here in Nevis incrementally seeing the increase in terms of youth, and not just youth, but youth and women within the sector. If you look within the ministry and department as it relates to the technical team, it's quite a young technical team. If you look at officers who are actually out there doing studies in agriculture also, we have about 2 individuals on the outside pursuing studies in agriculture. We also would have seen some youths again in terms of the investment in agriculture that relates to the technology. Some of the key players in hydroponics on the island of Nevis now are even in protected structures. These are young individuals, some just 30, some just 35, and these are the individuals who are now leading the charge as it relates to production and productivity on the island of Nevis. If you look for one crop such as lettuce, again, the island of Nevis is self-sufficient as it relates to lettuce. Again, this is thanks to the youths who would have heard the call, took up the challenge, and invest within the sector. We encourage additional persons to enter. We will love additional persons to enter, but again, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. As it relates to our food security, it is critical, but a lot of times persons speak of the food importation bill of St. Kitts Nevis, but sometimes we really have to dissect in terms of what do we determine as food being imported into St. Kitts and Nevis. And again, our people consuming the food that is actually grown here. Sometimes you go around and you see numerous like breadfruit and so forth, persons are not consuming it, and that is why at the expo and other events that we have, we try to bring these commodities back in terms of preparing them in different forms so persons could have a liking towards these rather than simply always consuming the foods that are imported, and continue to reflect on the bill. Again, we're asking persons now to start to look at local food. We have a lot of young individuals again into agro-processing, doing things at their homes, and we are trying to encourage them to now branch off in terms of getting into establishment. The government would have had training just about a month ago in terms of agro-processing. There was just a ceremony with that, and we continue to have things with young people and women to ensure that they have the basic prerequisites in terms of being able to contribute to the sector here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
And of course, if we are following what is happening worldwide as well, we must recognize that it is important for us to grow our own food here on the island. With all of the trade wars that we are hearing about, the possible trade wars that we are hearing about, the tariffs and so on, and of course we are hearing from tropical and other lines that we might be food prices might be going up.
Yes.
And of course, it is important that we grow our own food here
and consume what we grow.
Of course, I mean, even prices of vegetables and fruits and so on in overseas are higher than it is here. I mean, I spoke to a young lady who was visiting only last week. She was visiting from the United States, and she told me that in her state, she was paying like 10 to 12 US dollars for a dozen eggs. 10 to 12 US dollars for a dozen eggs. You know, and so we have another caller line. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Just to into this, I mean, again, I really call for greater collaboration between the islands, because we're not exploiting some of the resources that we have around us. And breadfruit is one of the things I just talk about. We see COVID with what happened with this food security issue. Breadfruit is a thing that could be processed into flour.
We actually do that. We actually do that on Nevis.
But you make bread with it?
Yes.
Every week you could purchase bread here from Guadeloupe, from breadfruit flour. We have to get a team to collect and increase the production of. That could be one of the first avenues that we make for increasing the revenue of the youth. If you get a chance to collect as much food breadfruit, process them, make them into flour. You could add the breadfruit flour with the white flour to improve the quality of the local bread.
Right.
And so we really need to exploit what we have locally through learning. And another thing for the coconut fish that they have there, the people you're making coconut cheese, you could pass that knowledge, share that knowledge. We're not really exchanging and collaborating as much as we think we should in order to make our relationship in the OECS more productive. Give thanks.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. And of course, yes, excellent point again regarding breadfruit. We know when breadfruit is in, I mean, they bang dog, as we would say locally. And I mean, sometimes when I drive through areas like Zetlands and Rollins, and the breadfruit, they're dropping off the tree, they ripen and they're dropping, you know, and the breadfruit flour and so on is much healthier than the regular wheat flour, you know. But as you rightly said, Mr. Elliott, sometimes our young people don't want to eat those kind of stuff, right? So if coming back to what I was saying about how expensive some products are, fruits and vegetables and so on, some of them are more expensive overseas than they are here on the island of Nevis. So it goes back to how important it is for us to grow our own food. And as I said, if what we're hearing about these wars, these trade wars and these tariff increases and so on, the prices of goods coming from overseas will be increasing. So we have to take warning. We have to grow more of what we eat and eat more of what we grow. And as we would have been saying here, when you come to the Agri Expo, you can learn things. I like the idea what you said about when you come and you go to the banks, and it comes back to what I was saying about everything is linked. Because when you come, people may ask, what are banks doing there? But the bank can actually give you a loan. And of course, some persons need a loan to start their business.
Specially designed for
Yes, we do have another call online. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I am not too bad. I'm listening to the program.
Yes.
It sounds good and everything. But I don't think it makes any sense for us to get all the food crops going, and then in 1 hour, a man's crops is destroyed by monkeys. Now, a friend of mine just went to Matchman this afternoon. One guy had a set of goats, and he let them out yesterday. And 5 or 6 of the kids didn't come back. When he checked, wild pigs, wild bulls took them out. So the man now has his goats penned, afraid to take them out until we can go and shoot some of these pigs. The donkeys are wild now. They're taking on the garbage, they're messing up town, they're causing havoc. And donkeys, surprisingly, donkeys are trampling on lambs and goats in people's pasture. So I said that to say, while we're talking about agriculture, and I 100% agree that we should have food security, there need to be at the next joint cabinet meeting, there need to be some effort by the federal government and the Nevis Island administration to pull some resources together and basically tackle the problems. The health of the nation is
the wealth of the nation.
Important to the wealth of the nation.
Yes.
And one doctor told me 80% of the stuff that we buy in the supermarkets, they put in diesel in a gasoline engine. So we eat in garbage, and we have the good stuff here. We have the good food, we have the mangoes, we have the everything here. And I can't see how the government, we have so much SID of money all over the place and stuff like that. I can't see how we can concentrate on getting feral animals under control. The government in Nevis tried very well, been trying for the last 6-7 years, and I compliment them for that. And somebody gonna call me tomorrow and say, well, because you're part of the program, and you probably get compensation for the program, that you are speaking and maybe talking for your next bread, but I'm not hungry. But the point I'm getting here is, we need to really, definitely go out there, because I am fed up of hearing, I don't like cheap talk. I'm tired of hearing that we're gonna do food security, we're gonna do food security. But if you're gonna do planting here, you've got to take care of these animals. You see a video on EK had a video going around of a Rastaman in St. Kitts. The man had some melons there. The day before everything was fine. The day he came back, he can't find one. I know of a guy in Nevis had 18,000 worth of melons. He was gonna sell them to 4 seasons, I think. And the monkeys destroyed all. But now it's a bigger problem. It's the monkeys, the donkeys, and the pigs. So the livestock farmers are hurting, and the crop farmers are hurting. And I don't see any result. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Because whatever Donald Trump is planning, if the light you're going to see in the tunnel, it's going to be a train coming. So you're going to listen for the noise as well. It will be a light, but when you go there, there's a train coming to you.
What the train is going to be? What the train is going to be bringing?
Huh?
What is the train is going to be for?
The train is going to be from Donald Trump is going to be bringing confusion. You're going to kill people. The man is a wrecking bomb. I don't even want to talk about it.
No, that now is not the time for that.
Yeah, so we're not talking about him. But the point I'm getting is the trade wars that this man is creating is going to affect us. And Africa now start to use their prisoners to do some farming, and we have all this stuff here, all the apples, all the sugar cane, all the soursop. I mean, look at the prices of soursop in the States. 5 years for soursop and stuff like that. We have the banning that. Anyway, I'm not going to take any more time. I think I've gotten my point across.
You have.
We need to get some money. Even if you're gonna ask some foreigners to contribute, so you got to find some money somewhere. That's not gonna affect civil servants pay and kind of stuff there. You got to find some money somewhere, right? And go ask the Minister of Foreign Affairs in St. Kitts to do something for the Federation. Do something. Talk to somebody. I know somebody gonna call me and say, Dr. Joe, I love you, so call him. No, I'm not gonna do that. Let him do your own thing. Have a nice night.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your contribution. And of course, we are very aware of the situation with the feral animals, and we are working tirelessly to get these animals under control. Yes, we are. And as I speak about that, I want to make a plug here as well. For persons who have their roaming animals. I know that over in the Jessops area, they have some roaming cattle over there that is causing havoc to people, and so I'm making a call to the owners of these animals to kindly tie your animals or get them out of the area, because they're wreaking havoc over there. And of course, I want to make a plug here as well. I would have done it when I was in the budget debate in Nevis about the dogs. We have a lot of dogs on the island, and they also are wreaking havoc with our small stock farmers as well. And so I am making an appeal here for the dog owners to kindly, because it seems as though some people have the dogs and they can't feed them and they just let them loose, right? And so it's a complex of situation we have here on the island. And we are trying our utmost to see what we can do, and we're going to be coming out with some serious plans very, very shortly. But thank you very much, Carla, for that. So let's get back to what we were discussing with regards to our big, huge, massive event tomorrow and Friday at the ETW Park in Charlestown. Tell us about, every year people look forward to the raffle. Will the raffles be on again this year?
Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Evelyn. Everything with raffle, nothing changing. The raffle is mixed in with the entertainment. All right, so most of the raffles will be done later in the evening section around 7:30 p.m.
That's on Friday?
That's on Friday. Yes. And building up to that.
What will be raffling?
Raffling, what we have here, Mr. Elliott?
The raffling is very cheap. We have a goat, we have a goat, we have pig, we have a cattle. The goat and the pig, they are just 5 EC each, and the cattle, the bull or the heifer, they are 10 EC each. And again, he already gathering some interest. This afternoon, a guy came in and said, let he go up to the people and he 2 animals them. So apparently he bought a book already. I'm not sure. But again, we're encouraging persons to support the raffle. Again, it's an opportunity for you to start your own a little herd. For instance, the bull and the heifer, they are valued between $1,300 and $1,500, and imagine you're winning one just for 10 EC. Again, it's an opportunity for you. I remember 2 years ago, someone would have won the heifer, and then they just bought the bull one time.
Nice.
So they're actually growing the herd. The tickets are available at the veterinary/livestock division. That's when you're going towards the section is right up the line. When you're coming by the plants, you just go to that division and you just tell them you want a book to buy.
And please, the ticket sellers do not approach me.
Again, okay. Yes. Well,
Mr. Elliott, I have a question. Let's say I'm living in the Charlestown area, in Craddock Road. I don't have no space but I partake in the raffle and I win the cow. Okay, it's straight to the abattoir.
People have done that before. Would you
allow that?
People have done it before, but again, based on the size of the animal, it's not abattoir ready.
Okay.
The abattoir ready.
So they can probably sell it to somebody who might be interested. Yes. So yes. Even if you don't have the space, that doesn't mean you can't. You might be able, as Mr. Elliott said, they're worth a lot of money,
yes.
And you're paying $10. So if you're living in Charlestown and you have no space, and we don't want you to have them being a nuisance to people, as I just spoke about either. So if you do not have any space, you have no way of keeping them, you can actually sell it,
yeah.
and make a good bit of money.
So that now it's open to everyone.
Yes.
So whether you're a farmer or you're looking for a quick cash turnover,
yes,
buy a ticket, 5 EC.
Good.
Yes. Yes. We'll also have some additional games through ECGC that again, that's one of our prime sponsor.
Yes,
is the supplier of the animal feeds. Again, you'll also have some games that you could win things from ECGC. You'll also have some games that you could win things from the abattoir also, and you also have some games that you could win from Plant Quarantine.
Great.
So we're asking persons to just visit every booth. Again, you don't expect to come into the park and spend 5 minutes. It's going to be an experience. We're asking everybody to just make sure that you touch every booth.
That is why they can't park down by Best Buy, right?
That is why. That is why. Because you might actually come in to see somebody and to buy lunch, but you meet somebody that you haven't seen in years.
Precisely.
So again,
and then to do the entire circle, to visit every booth, it takes a long time. Takes a long time.
So it's not just one circle.
You're right. more than one circle.
We keep within internal circles within the circle.
Right.
So it's getting.
As you spoke about the ECGC, I remember last year there was a delegation that came from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They were very impressed. Will a delegation be coming from St. Vincent and the Grenadines again this year?
They already set up.
Wow. Okay. They were very impressed.
Yeah,
and they wanted to see us, so they wanted to take all the hams back to St. Vincent.
Yeah, I think based on what they experienced last year, they requested a larger space this year also. So again, persons are seeing what we're doing here in Nevis as something good. It's just for us here in Nevis to cherish what we have.
Okay, so we have folks who will be coming from St. Vincent. You have folks who will be coming from Statia. Any other neighboring islands the persons will be coming from?
Well, I think we should have some persons coming from Sabre also.
Okay.
But for the Statia group, from what I've gathered, there are two separate groups. One probably is a family group with about 60 plus, and then there's another group that from a WhatsApp that I got is 78.
Wow. Good, the numbers keep
again,
going every year.
as individuals, some came with some coming with a suitcase, and that is something that we trying to promote at the expo. It is just not an expo; it's a product of the island of Nevis. It's a tourism product also that we try to promote on the island.
And as I would have mentioned some time back, I think people underestimate the kind of money that is injected into the economy when we have an event like this.
Yes.
Because trust me, people who sell at the expo make money.
Yes.
Serious money. And so it's a good injection for the economy as well. We haven't spoken yet about the entertainment. Tell us a little bit about the entertainment for the 2 days.
Well, the entertainment for the 2 days, knowing now that the NCDF is actually under the Ministry of Agriculture also, we have a very strong contingent coming from them. Again, it's the first time they're actually having a booth at the expo also. So we're seeing some acts on the first day in terms of the cakewalk, the Macajumbi, steel pan, etc. We also have two DJs on the Friday. One would be all day, the other one would be in the evening. And on Friday we'll see some of the masquerades and so forth coming from the NCDF. In the earning we have another DJ in the evening, and we also have the Grandmasters in the evening also.
Okay, you mentioned something earlier, and maybe you need to say that again, because I know last year there seemed to have been some issues with regards to payment for the final day in the evening. Is there a difference in the payment for Thursday and Friday? Hold that thought. Let me take this call first. Good evening, caller. You're live and on the mark.
Yes, Eric, me again.
Yes.
What about the cassava meal?
Everything will be there, darling. Everything will be there. Everything will be there. And as I say, you say you cannot come. If you want cassava meal, send somebody to get some cassava meal for you.
But listen, when I walk there, my mind didn't find something that leave from me and think that we had to go to. It's when I come back down, I say, oh, Lord, the cassava meal.
Yeah.
So let somebody get some for you.
I just done it like cornmeal, no?
Yes.
We call it the cassava
musa, yes.
Money eat good.
All right. So get somebody to set you up, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, take care. So yes, Mr. Elliott, I mean, there seem to have been some issues last year, because some persons would have complained that they had to pay a difference in the fee on Friday. Clear it up, please.
Okay, for persons
clear it up.
For persons who are coming on the Thursday, it's $5 EC straight through the day. $5 EC. You come in, you have a band, you keep your bands on your hand. We have instructed the persons at the gate to ensure that all bands are placed on hands, because if you pay and you lose your bands, you have to pay again. On the Friday, again, is 5 EC up until, I think it's up until 7. Up until 7 p.m. is 5 EC. But if you are in before and you have your bands on your hand, you feel free to enter back in at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, etc.
Right.
But if you're coming for the first time from 7, then you'll be paying 10 EC.
Okay. And that is because we have the added entertainment.
Yes.
And the added entertainment on the Friday will go until when? 10?
We go until 12.
Until 12, okay.
Until 12.
All right.
We originally discussed at 10, but the police would have granted until 12.
Okay, fantastic. Sounds good. Now, as we were talking about earlier about the gates and the entry, I remember last year as well, because we do not want the same issues to crop up again this year. I remember last year some persons complained that they had bought stuff, they had their heavy stuff, and their vehicle was parked over in the villa. And they wanted to use the small gate to exit, because you know that small gate on the high school road, that's an entry gate as well. But at one point in time that gate was locked, and so persons now were in a quandary, because they said they had their shopping and they couldn't slip through that small gate to go straight to the villa for their vehicle. They would have had now to go down all the way to the main big entrance and then walk all the way back up. So is there a situation this year where we can try to keep that small gate open?
Well, let me first apologize to those persons who have had that experience last year. Again, one reason why the gate was locked on that end was a security reason. This year, again, we would have heard the cries from the individuals, so forth, so that gate again would remain opened.
Fantastic. So it's going to be remaining open for the duration of for the 2 days.
Yes, and not only that one, for the individuals who park in the complex area, they would have the gate on the hill to service the same sort of movements of goods to where they are parked, the closest entrance. So there are 3 entrances that we mentioned.
Yes.
And so we are suspecting that those in the villa grounds would use the entrance on the school.
Yes.
Those up by the complex would use the one on the hill, and those walking from downtown would use the main gate.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Sounds good. And I just spoke about security, Mr. Elliott. And now you just mentioned that you'll be going until 12 on Friday. Security is normally an issue these days with any function. Of course, as well, for persons who are selling and who would want to leave all of the items or most of the items in the villa, in the ETW Park on Thursday night. Can you assure the vendors that their stuff will be safe on the Thursday night when they go home, and when they come back on Friday they're going to meet everything that they left there?
Well, we would have had security in place from Wednesdays, and from last evening security was in place. There was one security team in place Wednesday. This evening, the fact that the bulk of the stuff coming in, we would have increased the numbers in terms of security personnel for this evening and also for Thursday evening. So the numbers for the security personnel has increased also.
Okay, but it sounds good to me, because I said security is of course very important, and we want, when our vendors come and leave their items there, generally on the Thursday evening, that when they come back Friday, there can be no issue whatsoever. Tell us about lunch. Enough lunch persons, food vendors are going to be there for persons to come and have lunch there. We want persons to come there and have lunch on both days.
Yes, lunch again is no issue. We actually have a slight increase. We actually facilitated a slight increase in terms of lunch. Again, when we look at the persons who have came and registered first, we realized that the food area was somewhat balancing on one side as it relates to the persons who were lover of meat and chicken, etc. So what we did, we facilitated in terms of the rasters, because they were a bit late. We also facilitated persons who were into fish also, and persons who were into veggie, just to ensure that once you're at the ETW Park and you enter the food court, there's something there for you.
And what I love again this year, I when I was there this afternoon, I saw some of the picnic benches are already there, so you can come and you can sit in the pavilion towards the roadside, as well as you can sit on the picnic benches. I know it's a little bit warm in the day, but in the evening I'm sure persons would be loving to sit on the picnic benches. Some of them are around the bar area. I know the bar is normally a hub every year as well. We have enough persons working in the bar this year to control the crowd?
Well, we have enough persons in the bar. We would have had a complaint last year in terms of the shade around the bar also, I think the tent size. So what we did also this year, we increased the size of the tent size that is attached to the bar, so persons that within themselves could actually have more shade. The bar again starts from 7 o'clock. You come in from 7 o'clock, you have access to the bar.
The bar is going to be open from 7?
From 7.
So you are expecting people to be drinking bar stuff so early?
Breakfast. And again, for the persons who lime and so forth, again, kindly note, there will be no bottles being served.
Yes, please remind folks of that.
There will be no bottles being served in terms of on the grounds, maybe from the vendors or even from our bar. There will be no bottles.
And I think you also need to remind folks as well, like when I was there this afternoon, I see the pitch area with a rope around it, remind people that they're not supposed to be walking on that as well.
Yes, we asking persons again for the wicket pitch, knowing that ETW Park is a
cricket venue.
It's a cricket venue. It's a delicate space. It's the home for cricket here in the island of Nevis. So we have to ensure that, although permission was granted for us to use the park, I think when we first actually parked, you were the Minister of Sports.
Yes.
And I think that when we went and asked, someone said, "Well, they're not going to park." I'm like, "No, the Minister for Sports." He was like,
yes, we work together. Yes,
right? Yeah. So we're asking persons to kindly refrain from walking on the cricket pitch. We're asking persons to refrain their children from walking on the pitch also. Just this evening, just before I left, I had a word with the individual who the grounds were named off, Mr. Willett himself, and he actually came in this evening. He walked around and it was like, wow, I would have never imagined all this inside ETW Park.
Right.
And I gave him a word that we're going to ensure that we continue to protect it.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, normally when we have the Agri Expo, we normally get a lot of school children, primary schoolers as well. And I know that there is normally a section for children, because I know when children come, they gravitate to the section where the children are. Tell us about the children's section.
Well, the children's section would have seen some significant upgrades. In terms of, even if you look at the petting zoo from that is coming from the department itself, we would have seen some significant upgrades as it relates to that. Based on last year, we realized that the number of vendors we had, I think we had just about six individuals to the back facilitating the children. We realized that there was a big lag behind in terms of children not having access to different activities. So what we did this year, we moved it from 6, we took it up to 13 vendors to the back. So you're seeing, like, again, the horseback riding, you're seeing the bouncing castles, you're seeing the trampoline, you're seeing Scrabble. Yes. Again, the St. Kitts Nevis Scrabble Association would be there also. You're seeing also some Lucky Dip and all these things
game section,
all these things to try to ensure that our children that are coming, they're
fully occupied.
Right,
absolutely. And
yes,
of course,
and the whole of that is surrounded with the petting zoo going into these animals, the sheep and goats. So there's something there to keep the kids' attention for quite some time.
Absolutely.
And that is why we're asking persons again. I know that area persons usually like to drive, and that is why we're asking persons no driving,
no traffic inside
the grounds. We have to protect our children, and we have to protect our individuals.
And of course, the more traffic you have on the ground as well, because you remember we are going into the dry season as well. It is getting a little dry at the park too, and so the less traffic we have on the ground, the better it is for everyone, because normally when you have a lot of traffic, you have that dust issue, and a lot of grass flying as well. And thank God it's not too dry there at the ETW Park as yet, but I mean it is getting dry, but if you have the more traffic you have, it will create a problem as well. So we are asking persons as well, please, to refrain from coming in. We know that, I know sometimes people have issues because they're saying people at the gate stop them, but if you're not allowed in, you're just not allowed in. Right? And so we are almost running out of time, and so since we're talking about traffic, I want you all to remind members of the public in terms of where they can park, remind members of the public in terms of the entrance where you can enter, where you can exit, and because we want no major issues with traffic for the next 2 days at the ETW Park. So I want you to remind the members of the public, especially the drivers, where they can park.
Yes. So as we said, the bulk of the parking will be done at the Villa grounds, and the entrance closest to that will be the small gate on the school road into the ETW Park. And then you go above up to the preschool and the cultural complex, and all the parking area within that area is left for our patrons to park, and they can access the venue from the gate at the top of the hill. And then those who have already gotten their parking down in the heart of Charlestown will just walk up and enter through the main gate. They recommend no parking in Best Buy parking lot. You may find some space over by the hot springs to the back, because down there is a huge tourist attraction now, so that isn't allowed allocated for parking anymore. But you may find 1 or 2 spots around. But those are the bulk areas, and based on how we have seen the traffic over the years, a lot of people would shop and go. So it's a constant flow. So although you're parking in the school grounds, there will be some sort of order, so that when you park, you don't call back say you can't get out.
And I want to suggest another little parking area too, because I mean there's normally so many people. There's a little clear out spot there by the Bath roundabout. People can walk from over there and come over as well. There's the roundabout at Bath. There's a spot there that can hold quite a number of vehicles as well. Right, Melissa, can we have that ad again before we wrap up? We're about to wrap up soon, so we're gonna get that ad again.
With agriculture, right in our corner.
It's that time of year again for the spotlight to shine on agriculture. Yes, I am talking about the annual Agri Expo scheduled for Thursday 27th and Friday 28th March 2025 at the ETW Park in the heart of Charlestown. Come and join us along with patron Danny Atherton as we celebrate all things agriculture under the theme A New Era, Leveraging Technology for Sustainable and Inclusive Agriculture. Come, check out the farmers market that will offer the very best in quality of locally grown fruits and vegetables. And of course, you can shop for your local meats, agro-processed items, fruit trees, ornamentals, cosmetics, craft items, and so much more. While on site, be sure to grab your lunch or a snack from the food court and keep cool from the well-stocked bar. Other attractions include food and technical demos, exotic zoo, kids zone, domino competition, and of course live entertainment. There will be something to suit everyone's taste. Agri Expo 2025 goes from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. on Thursday and 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. on Friday, and you pay a small fee of only $5 to enter. School children in uniform, you are absolutely free. See you at the ETW Park on Thursday 27th and Friday 28th March for Agri Expo 2025. For more information, follow Nevis Agriculture on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Fishing, farming, livestock, and poultry make up the pack. Proceed with vigor, will get the country on the right track.
Oh, definitely. And just before we wrap up, I just want to make a quick plug here for the cross-channel swim taking place on the 29th, that this coming Saturday, starting at Owali from 8 o'clock. We have about 478 persons registered. That's the swim from Nevis to St. Kitts. Come on over and of course cheer on the swimmers, starting at 8 o'clock sharp this coming Saturday. All right, gentlemen, Mr. Elliott and Mr. Reed, it has been a pleasure having you. We have run out of time. We can talk agriculture all night, but I'm going to give both of you an opportunity to have a last word to encourage persons to come out on Thursday and Friday.
Yes, I would like to say to the general public, there's something for everyone there. Whether you, we all consume food, and Easter is coming up, onions and pumpkin and sweet potatoes. There's the meat, there's for the kids, the foreigners. It's a social event where you could meet your classmates, people from Statia, Sabre, all over going to be there. So come on out. If you're fast, come look news. This
I like
place
that.
to be. So I'm looking forward to see everyone there.
Mr. Elliott?
We just ask the general public to come out and support our farmers, support all the stars them, and be safe, have fun, and just tell a friend or walk with a friend.
Thank you very much. You heard it there from Mr. Randy Elliott and Mr. Steve Reed. They were my guests tonight for On The Mark. We want to thank you all for joining us. Remember to be at the ETW Park tomorrow, the 27th, and Friday, the 20th of March for the Agri Expo. You won't regret being there. I've been your host for tonight. Honorable Eric Evelyn, has been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. Remember to tune in again tomorrow for the repeat edition of On The Mark from 1 until 3. So, on behalf of my guests this evening, thank you. Have a good night and God bless.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.